Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. Globe defender Sly Sparkane, who often makes videos against Flat Earth researchers, is raising funds for a bending water test, which he claims will prove once and for all that we live on a spherical Earth. So far, he's managed to raise $3,160, which is well over his original target of almost $2,000, and he's still got 24 days left. So we'll have a look at what he proposes to do for this bending water test. And this is an opportunity, obviously, before he conducts the test, to point out the problems he's going to have, and my prediction that at the most, all that we will get is inconclusive results. So let's hear what his proposal is, and then I'll just give a quick evaluation of what I think about this test.
Today's science deniers have many required proofs, the majority of which have been quite cleanly displayed or explained, but one thing still remains: proof of bending water around the Earth due to the force of gravity.
Okay, just a quick interruption there. He started off saying today's science deniers, referring to globe deniers. No, we're not denying science, and as you said then, we are given explanations and theories and models, but as you are well aware, there are no definitive tests to prove these models and theories and explanations. So it's not denying science. We are pointing out that there has been no scientific proof or measurement of the model or theory that we live on a globe Earth. And of course, he is correct in the understanding that there is no such thing, or there has been no proof of bending water. Anyway, I'll let him carry on. Just wanted to point that out, that no one's denying science. In fact, we demand science.
And even though it's a fact that water bends around the curvature of the Earth, as it is observed in every photo of objects disappearing from the bottom up as they move beyond the horizon, this does not seem to satisfy the skeptics.
Okay, again, he's claimed that these are facts that he's trying to prove. So really, he's not being very objective from the outset, and an observation like this is not consistent. This is the kind of observation that we might be able to make if we are very low to the surface, and of course it's due to perspective when we look across a flat surface of water. But he's assuming here that seeing a boat do something like this is because it's apparently disappearing beyond some imaginary curve. So right away we are starting with assumed facts. Doesn't seem like he's being very objective.
This does not seem to satisfy the skeptics. So I have designed a test. And with your help, I will be able to see this test through. This will be the solid, indisputable test to see if water, at rest, bends around the curvature of the Earth, remaining level to the center of the Earth, or if it remains perfectly straight as if level with a plane. So here's the test. If you take two plastic tubes and set them up vertically, then you connect those tubes and put water in them, the water will create a level, regardless of the tube heights or thickness. And the connecting tube can literally be at any angle. It can be bowed up, it can be bowed down, and even laid in several different directions. The water will remain level. What I will be doing is placing connected vertical tubes 100 meters apart, across 1,600 meters, or just short of a mile. This will create 17 measuring points. Then 100 meters from there, I will have a camera to look down the line of filled and connected tubes. And although the terrain might be uneven, the levels will always remain level. When looking down the line with a camera, first I will place a marker on the first and last tubes at 1 centimeter below the water's level. Then I will align a straight line of markers on all the other tubes in between. At the same time, 15 centimeters above each one of those markers, I will place another line of markers. These two lines will be visibly and measurably parallel with each other. Then I will place a marker at the water height on each tube and check the results. If the water levels create an arc between the two parallel lines, the Earth is curved and we can see that. If the water levels remain parallel to the two lines, then this will mean a flat plane. Make no mistakes though, across this distance, the arc will only peak about 4 inches. So accuracy is going to be important and good photos will be our priority. That's the entire test. The problem is travel and rather substantial material costs. Included in my funding request, there is the entire tubing assembly, a water pump, gas money, and sustenance for the day, as well as a camera. Now, since I am not producing a product, I have to come up with something special for the optional perks in the funding of this test. So this is what I came up with. The $25 perk, your name will be placed in the drawing 1 time. The $50 perk, your name will be placed in the drawing 3 times. And I wanted to do something a little bit extra, so I came up with this. For $75, your name will be placed in the drawing 4 times, plus your username, or an acceptable title or name of your choosing, will be placed on one of the measuring tubes and will be seen as part of the test. Sound good? The funding request includes the purchase of a Nikon P900 camera because of its excellent zoom capability. This will be needed in order to get the photo of the results in the zoom clarity required. And since the P1000 came out, the price has gone down a bit on the P900, so it is a sensible purchase for this project. So let's talk about the perks. As much as I would love to keep the camera, I really have no use for it beyond this project. So I'll be giving it away by drawing a name of someone who has purchased one of the perks. This means at the completion of the test, one of you who purchased the perk will own the camera I used. But here's another thing. If we get $600 above the funding goal, then I will purchase the new P1000 camera instead of the P900, and that will become the prize of the drawing. This means you have the potential to win a $1,000 camera for $25. Any funds received beyond the funding goal or beyond the purchase of the P1000 will go towards possible future projects and videos. The drawing will be performed live on a Hangout after the release of the test video. And once I'm done with the test, I will be cutting the video, so it will come out quite quickly after doing the test. We have already scouted out 3 potential locations to perform this test here in Germany. And the test will be performed sometime in mid to late spring, or once our funding request has been reached. And I really hope for as many people to participate as possible in the funding of this project to ensure that everything goes smoothly. Feel free to link, mirror, or share this video. I only request that in the top line of your description below the video, that you please put a link to the GoFundMe page so we can hope for maximum participation. At the end of this test, it will no longer be able to be argued whether water bends around a curve, remaining level to the center of the Earth, or if it remains perfectly flat. Y'all have a nice day.
Alrighty, well, he's going to have $2,000 spare if he spends $1,000 on a new camera. So that's, as he said, going to be put towards potential future tests. But let's have a look at the problem here. Let's just go back to this bit.
Then 100 meters from there, I will have a camera.
Okay, this is essentially what he's going to do with the test. Now we have an orthographic view here of the test, and he's going to put the camera 100 meters away from the tubes, and herein lies the problem. This is the only location he's going to film from. So he's going to film from here. He's not going to film this side on view. He's not going to take a photograph or video of what he will claim is going to be a curve or a bulge in this water across this 1600 meters. We're only going to be given this one particular view. Now, Sly understands perspective, and he uses it to his advantage to obfuscate the issue. And as we saw at the beginning with the ship, this of course is the argument that globe defenders use to say that we see the effects of curvature, because we're always given this front view from the observer's perspective of a ship that appears to be going down a curve because it's reached the horizon. Now, people have been making all kinds of observations from various different heights, and it is not always the case that we see ships doing this. Sometimes they just fade into obscurity. Once they are on the horizon, they remain on the horizon. The only reason we ever see ships appearing to disappear below a horizon is when we have a very low point of view above the surface. Once we get higher, we see that we are looking across a flat plane. All right, so this in itself, again, this is why globe deniers demand that we have at least another view of this alleged curvature, a side-on view, such as, where is it? I'll go back to it. Oops. Here. You see, this is the kind of view we need to see. If you're going to claim that a view from this camera here, 100 meters away from these tubes, is going to produce the results of observable curvature, a bulge in the water, then you also need to verify that. This would be a scientific method of verifying the observation, is to observe it from this here. But at no point does Sly say that he will actually film from here. He does say he will walk along this line of tubes, but he's not going to give us a side-on orthographic view of the alleged bulge. Now, what's also interesting about this is that the location he has picked is right next to a canal, a much longer body of water. But he's going to do his experiment on land next to this body of water. So I find it quite ironic that here we have a stretch of water that is longer than the proposed site of the experiment. But he's not going to use this body of water to do any measurements. He's going to set up his own experiment on land. Now, the issue we have here with the land is that, let's have a look. Here is the site he proposes to perform the test on this allegedly flat surface next to the canal. And we can see here the usual kind of results that we get when we look across a flat surface, but of course this disappearing of the bottom of these cyclists is a bone of contention among globe deniers and globe defenders. And this is exactly the same thing we see when we see ships. Let's have a look. Okay, so here we have this optical observation where we see ships appearing to sink down a curve beyond a horizon, and here we see exactly the same thing. We see the bottom parts of these cyclists disappearing. So what is this? Is this an optical phenomenon due to perspective and refraction and other conditions, or is it physical curvature? Here Sly claims that this is due to curvature. So here he's proposing to set up an experiment on what he claims to be a flat surface, but we can see what would appear to be the effects of curvature if you are a globe defender. So you have to decide, which is it? Is this a result of perspective, or is this a result of curvature? If it's a result of curvature, just like this ship here, then of course the flat surface you plan to use is actually curving. So that's another problem with the experiment. All right. Now, again, the irony I find here that Sly is going to do this next to a body of water is that he already has the tools and equipment in which to do a test of water level. It's one that I've suggested myself in the past. Sly has a drone, and it is the Mavic 2. Let's just wait for this. Okay, this is a very advanced drone with a very good camera on it, and one of the things it can do is give you the altitude. Okay, it has a very advanced sensing system on it, which allows it to even avoid obstacles all on its own. Okay, so it has this precision measurement of between 0.5 to 16 meters. Sorry, that's backwards. Downward, here we go, 0.5 to 11 meters. Yeah, all right. So this has an altitude indicator on it, this drone. This is a drone which Sly owns. So here's a test that I proposed quite a while ago, back in August 2018, where you simply get a camera and you set up the camera and you make sure that the drone is at eye level, and you send the drone off into the distance. Now, given that we have this long canal here, Sly could easily do this with his drone. He could stand on the path here with his camera, or the path here, and with his camera put the drone at eye level and send it off into the distance. And just all you have to do is keep the drone at the camera's eye level. So that would mean that you would ensure that the drone maintains a consistent height or level. And then, as it goes off into the distance, you should see whether there is a difference in the height of the drone above the surface. If the surface is flat, of course, there will be no difference in the altitude of the drone above the surface. If the surface is curved, then of course we'll either see an increase or a decrease in the drone's height above the surface as it maintains a consistent level altitude relative to the camera's eye level. It's a simple test that Sly Sparkane has the equipment to do. So really, there's no need to be raising all this money to go and do a test next to water, a body of water. It's a canal. Canals are flat, so this probably isn't flowing. It probably has locks at either end. So why you would need to raise funds for a test in a place where you can actually already perform the test, I have no idea. So, well, there you go. The results, of course, will be no doubt debatable because, as I showed here, we are not going to be given. We're only going to be given this view of these pipes, which are with a few centimeters difference between the marked heights, and the camera is going to be 100 meters away from this, and you can see from let's see here, you can see here from the observations that he's already made that we get distortion. Okay, yeah, so really, Sly, it's a futile experiment, and I'm pretty sure that the results will not be conclusive in any way whatsoever. And for a start, as I said, if you want to claim curvature, you need to have a picture of the alleged curvature from a perpendicular point of view, from somewhere over here or somewhere over here. Yeah. So you've got this vast expanse over here and over here. These would be good places to put your camera as well, to show us the curvature or alleged curvature side on. So let's see if he takes this on board, or if any of the people that have already donated to this will realize that they have been set up for an experiment that is designed to fail in the first place. Thank you very much.